Let's switch gears now to Quebec and the medical assistance in dying program, euthanasia program that's happening there. It seems that Quebecers are engaging with that program in higher numbers and in not they're no longer doing what the program had intended, which is to seek euthanasia as a last resort. And there's an oversight body that's sounding the alarms and saying, hey, we've got to slow down a little bit here. Brock, why don't you unpack a little bit of what's going on there?
To offer this program of medically assisted dying. And you've seen previous cases where veteran soldiers or suicidal people have been offered this as an alternative to social support and treatment. And now we've got cases in Quebec where the uptake is much, much higher than we initially expected. And I think that that's really the issue, is that it's not for someone in their late 80s or 90s who has terminal cancer and doesn't want to live through chemo. It's cases that are younger people or people who don't have an ideal situation. And really, this is society's fault. The social services groups, government support agencies are not providing the services people need to feel like they're valuable members of their community and that they should go on living a healthy, vibrant life if that's at all possible.
Um, Now, I remember there was a clause that said your death had to be kind of foreseeable. It had to be foreseeable. Is that no longer the case, Elliot? And I guess, is this the slippery slope that so many had said? Oh, be careful if you legalize euthanasia. These are what's going to happen down the road. And it's only been legalized now since 2016. So, are we there now at the end of that slippery slope?
I mean, this is a very difficult issue. Obviously, end of life is a challenging issue for everybody. It's not something that we're used to discussing. Uh, in reading some of the news articles around this, it would seem that, well, first off, there's a lot of checks and balances to sort of have to sign off on this. You need two doctors to approve it. You can't just simply say, I want to die, and then tomorrow you do the procedure. So, that's really important for folks to know. And in the case of Quebec, I think there were over 3,600 total cases of MAID being applied, and only 15 were found to be sort of, not handled properly. Now, one is too many. 15 out of 3,600 is less than 1%. So we need to remember that these are still early days in what is a very difficult issue. 2016 is 5, 6, 7 years ago. We're still learning about this. Yes, the numbers are a little bit higher, but perhaps that simply explains, that there are a number of folks who are sort of looking for this way to deal with their challenging situations. I agree with Brock that social services are not perfect, but I don't think we should necessarily say the numbers are really high. This is going wrong. We need to sort of scrap this. I think it's important to take the lessons from reports like this and others and learn as we go on. But it's seen as a very valuable service. I know some people who have sort of used it, family members who have used it, and it's a valuable part of life and death. And I think that's important to take that into consideration.
And I guess the government seems to be, it's an evolving legislation because there tends to be some amendments that keep kind of being reviewed every few years. So we'll see how this report or these alarms will shape some of those potential future considerations. Let's switch gears now to Ontario. So, we need to build more homes. People need to live places. We know we have a housing undersupply in Canada. Well, Ontario is trying to do that. However, and develop roads and houses. But the Attorney General the Auditor General in Ontario has said, hold on a second, with respect to your protected greenbelt development, things haven't been done properly here. We have some concerns about how the government may have acted inappropriately. Brock or Elliot, do you want to start us off on this?
No, Brock, go ahead. I finished the last second, so you
Okay,
can you can
Brock, you go
tackle
ahead.
this one.
Go ahead.
So there's groups throughout Ontario that are concerned that the green belt is being reduced so that homes can be built in the Niagara through to Peterborough region, both of which already have people commuting to Toronto on a daily basis. I think Ontario's got plenty of problems. 500,000 people moving into the province and not enough new homes is a serious problem. Most of them are moving to the Greater Toronto area, and there's plenty of problems. There's not enough infrastructure. There's not enough support. There's not even enough concrete. That's the real issue. I think Ontario probably needs another couple concrete plants in the GTA. Good luck with the provincial and federal environmental approvals from that. On a separate note, I think the conservation areas that oversee parts of the Greenbelt are heavy-handed, and local groups that live next to these conservation areas who are already having difficulty. So I don't think it's going to be a smooth process for these 15 developers that got their land removed from the conservation areas. But Ontario clearly does need more housing. It needs more schools. It needs more highways.